Okay, welcome everybody to the Brown Bag session for the Institute for Scholarly Inquiry. My name is Rich Souza. I am chair of the Institute for Scholarly Inquiry for the current year. In my other life, I am professor and vice chair for research in the Department of Physical Therapy and Rehab Science at University of California, San Francisco, and I'm here with the executive branch of the ISI, and I'll have them introduce themselves. Darcy?
Hi, I'm Darcy Reisman. I'm professor and chair of the Department of Physical Therapy at the University of Delaware, and I am the vice chair for the Institute for Scholarly Inquiry.
And
And
Carol.
hello, everybody. I'm Carole Tucker. I am chair and professor at University of Texas Medical Branch of their Physical Therapy Rehab Science Department, as well as the Associate Dean of Research. And I get to serve as past chair of the ISI.
All right. So our plan is to go through some structure of who we are and what we've been doing, a little bit of what our plans are for the upcoming year. And then the goal was to open it up to questions, but it looks like this is going to be more of a recording. So this will live on the website so people can visit it and see what it is that we're doing. So this is the agenda for today. I'm going to talk about the ISI, that's us, Institute for Scholarly Inquiry, as well as the ERC, the Educational Research Committee, which is part of our group. Darcy will then talk about the vision statement and guide, which are a couple of things we've been working on hard for the last couple of years, as well as the webinar series to promote the guide. I'll talk about some plans to evaluate that guide. Carole will talk about a really exciting workshop that we created this past year called Bridges, and talk about plans for its expansion, and then some AI initiatives, and then just reminding you all about our ISI business meeting at ELC. So I want to just start with kind of the structure of ACAPT and how we fit into this. So this is probably familiar to many of you, but basically the ACAPT members are the center of the structure, and the board of directors are on the left side there, which basically lead a lot of the initiatives in the direction of ACAPT. The staff, which there are some on the call here, are the ones that do all the hard work and actually make everything work. There are some committees and commissions within ACAPT, and then there's the Center for Excellence, which leads the institutional profile, among other things, and then the institutes. And so the institutes on the bottom right there are four of them: the Institute for Academic Advancement, the Institute for Teaching and Learning, Institute for Community Engagement, and our institute, the Institute for Scholarly Inquiry. And that's really some of the workhorses of of ACAPT. We do a lot of the task force work that push some of the initiatives forward. So for ISI leadership, we introduced ourselves to you already. I'm the chair, Darcy is the vice chair, and Carole is the past chair. We have 3-year appointments. So if you are interested in volunteering for leadership within the Institute, the elections happen in the spring. And turnover happens at ELC. So I will use Darcy as an example. So she, at last ELC, became the vice chair of the Institute, and she will spend this year serving that role. At ELC, this in a few months from now, I will step down from chair. She will become chair for the next year until the next ELC, in which case she will become the past chair. So the appointments are 3 years long. Your role changes throughout those 3 years. We've really more functioned as a partnership rather than having discrete roles of these different titles. But nonetheless, that is what you would sign up for if you're interested in becoming part of the ISI leadership. We're really excited that Elke Schomburg is going to be the incoming vice chair. She was elected just recently. ACAPT put out a nice video that welcomed her onto the ISI team, and so she will be rolling in as vice chair starting at ELC. This is just a little bit more of the structure of ISI. So there's us at the top, and we have some community aspects, and that's where a lot of the task force activity works on the left there. But the main reason I put this slide up here was to let you all know about the Educational Research Committee, which is another opportunity for people to volunteer. The Educational Research Committee used to live in ACAPT outside of ISI, and with some reorganizations, it made most sense for them to align with us. And so they have their own initiatives and some plans that happen specific to educational research, and we work closely with them on their work. So with that, I'm going to pass it to Darcy to talk a little bit about the vision statement that was created.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, so for the past few years, one of the things we've been doing at the Institute is really spent some time developing a vision statement for scholarship for to kind of guide the work of the ISI and the work of ACAPT. And so this was a very long process in developing this, getting stakeholder input, and we can, get provide more information on the process uh, if people have specific questions. But ultimately, the vision statement that we ended up with is PT programs will produce impactful scholarship through rigorous scientific inquiry that advances PT practice and enhances the health of individuals and society. And so I want to now just unpack a little bit what that actually means. So next slide there, Rich, please. Um, so the words that I've highlighted here in color, I'm going to be calling those out and talking a little bit more about those. So PT programs is defined, and by the way, we have a white paper that has a home on the ACAPT website that talks about the vision statement, the development of the vision statement, and kind of unpacks it a little bit more if people want more details, but I'm going to do it quickly here. So the definition of PT programs is really personnel and invested parties of a program. So faculty, administrators, students, and clinical education faculty will produce impactful. Let's talk about what impactful means. Other words that could stand in for impactful are advances and enhances, and it's defined as having a measurable effect, benefit, or contribution to the health of individuals and society in terms of primary research-related impact, influence on policy making, health and health systems impact, health related and societal and broader economic impact. So you can see that impactful is a very broad term here in terms of how people would be doing scholarship that could be considered impactful. Rigorous is the strict application of the scientific method to ensure unbiased and well-controlled design, methodology, analysis, interpretation, and reporting of his results. And of course, this is what we all strive to do for the results of scholarship to be impactful. Rigorous is a base requirement. Scott, we went out a little out of order. Scholarship is really, this is a really important piece of this vision statement because scholarship here is defined using Boyer's model of scholarship, which includes the scholarship of discovery, the scholarship of integration, the scholarship of application, sometimes called the scholarship of engagement, and the scholarship of teaching and learning. And so we really feel it's important for everybody to understand this really broad definition of scholarship that we think really covers all the different kinds of work that people are doing for those programs that are members of ACAPT and those programs that aren't. All right. Next, we have a little bit more to talk about in terms of the vision statement is very lofty. It's visionary, right? And one of the things that the ISI is really committed to doing is to help people achieve that vision in the programs that they're in. And one of the most important things to achieving that vision is really to be able to assess and foster a culture of scholarship in our academic physical therapy programs. And that's really the foundation of being able to enact that vision at each program level. And so really what we wanted to do as an institute was to provide a self-assessment discussion guide that really helped folks understand the scholarship culture within their physical therapy program or department, and really then understand how they could leverage that culture to enact the vision. So I have a QR code here that links you to this self-assessment discussion guide. It's a very lengthy guide that essentially walks people through the assessment of their research culture, and more to come on this through last but not least, Rich, the webinar series that we have that is sponsored by ACAPT, which really walks folks through the use of this discussion guide for institutions and programs that live in institutions of different types. So hybrid programs, programs that live in an R1 in a research intensive institution, etc. That's a QR code to the webinar series, allows you to register for that. We have our last webinar tonight. It was a series of 5 webinars, but all of them have been recorded and are available for people to partake in, asynchronously.
Yeah, one thing I just wanted to kind of comment on is the work of this guide and the vision statement was really brought in by task force that worked within ISI. And the part that I've just been so impressed with this task force is they were extremely engaged and they represent extreme diversity of programs in physical therapy. And so this guide was very much developed in making sure that it spoke to people that were in, developing programs, very advanced research scholarship programs, hybrid programs. And so we hope that you will explore the guide with your faculty and continue to work with us as we develop it. And the focus, and so these webinars have talked to those very different kind of types of PT programs. Darcy, the one today is specifically about what type of DPT program?
So this is a DPT program that itself is research intensive or that finds itself living in a research intensive institution.
Great, thank you. So, like I said, we've spent the last couple of years working on this guide, developing it. We're really excited about it. We think that it really has a lot of value for a lot of different uses of scholarship engagement and fostering that culture. But it has basically been within our group, within the task force and the executive committee at ISI, and we think it warrants a complete kind of thorough evaluation at this time to find out how it can be improved. And so we're proposing in 2027 to do a formal evaluation of the guide. And so that's one of the task forces that we are hoping will be approved by the board and will be able to fill at ELC and beyond for 2027. And so part of what this slide is about is hopefully getting some interest from you all in helping us to evaluate this guide. So here's some of the things. I don't need to go through all of them, but we want to look at how the guide is functioning. Is it valid? Is it usable? The outcomes. And we want to make sure that, as I said before, it is actually usable and helpful across the diverse institutions, Carnegie classifications, however you want to categorize our programs, because the ultimate goal is to uplift scholarship, research culture across programs, not focusing on any one type of program. We have some objectives and deliverables. We want to do a rigorous analysis of this. We don't want to just kind of do a cursory evaluation of something that we really like. So that's why we are bringing in a new task force that will consist of people that are not on the task force that created it to truly do an evaluation. We expect this to be an IRB approved study, and we expect to have some publications out of this, disseminating the results, whether it's positive or whether the guide misses the mark in certain areas. And so if this is something that you are at all interested in, if you have expertise in guide evaluations, we would very much like to discuss with you and maybe consider you joining the task force or volunteering for the task force. With that, I'm going to pass it to Carole to talk a little bit about another one of our programs that happened in 2026 that we're very, very excited about. Carole.
Yeah, thank you. So just another plug for the guide. Even if you're at a faculty and it sounds like you have to have everybody on board for you to download the guide or look at the webinars or do it, I would encourage everybody to take a look at it. I think it'll give you some concrete ways to think about your scholarship, even as a faculty member, and maybe how you can play a role in helping the profession with scholarship. So Bridges, as Rich has mentioned, was another big initiative of the ISI. Bridges stands for Building Research Infrastructure and Development for Grant Writing, really for grantsmanship excellence and success. And this is a workshop approach coupled with a whole year of mentorship of faculty members from institutions. So we did run our inaugural one this past April. And again, just some of the data is up there. We had 6 faculty from across the US, 8 senior mentors. So we had a lot of mentors as we were working through the first year. And I think you can see some of the changes that even though there were few participants felt, and that all of them left with a plan as well as continued mentorship. But let me back up a little bit. What the slide's missing is really kind of the OODA V, the secret sauce of what the Bridges is. So we are pulling people in from institutions, and we are looking to pull, if possible, 2 people from each institution. Because if you're looking to change your research culture, if you're looking at improving the scholarship within your team of faculty at an institution, it's going to be best if there's more than one of you. So if you have a peer, if you have a colleague, if you have accountability. The institutions we're targeting are really any of those that would qualify for R15. So they may not be the strongest R1 institutions. You may be at an R1 or an R2 partnership, but your department may not be at that level of funding. And so again, we are looking at helping faculty within departments improve their scholarship and also improve their ability to navigate the nuances and the resources and maybe the challenges at the institution they're at. So we bring people in for about a 4-day workshop. It could be longer, it could be shorter, where they really spend days getting some time where we walk through concepts that maybe they've heard of, but they haven't really thought about functionally. A lot of time with mentors in group and panel discussions. But I think what people found most valuable was the one-on time with mentors. And so everybody is assigned a primary mentor in part based on where they see their plan of research moving. And they meet with that mentor during the workshop several times, as well as other ones that may be able to contribute just to get that different perspective. And that's a really unique opportunity to meet with people that understand where you're at or understand where you need to go. After that, our participants do a writing accountability group. So they're meeting periodically just to talk about products or scholarship or the little bites and chews that get you where you need to go. And they're also meeting monthly with their mentor to talk about challenges or maybe specific grant aims. At the end of this year of mentorship, which includes every 3 months, the whole group getting back together, the idea is that they would be ready to submit a grant. And the grant could be a foundation grant. It could be a state or foundation grant. It could be a small R grant. It could be an R15 or one of the other R15-like mechanisms that are available to schools that meet certain criteria in terms of their research maturation. So we're really excited about it. We're going to be doing this again next April. So if you're interested in hearing more about it, you could feel free to reach out to any of us 3. I think it's April 13th through 17th. We will be putting announcements out. And I would be not correct if I didn't acknowledge that ACAPT generously supported this workshop. So we did hold it at UTMB, but ACAPT has been behind us 100%. And again, it's their commitment to the Institute of Scholarly Inquiry, but just as well as scholarship within our profession. And so that was the pilot project. We are moving on. It nestles in with Tiger and Gamer. We're looking at perhaps different people. We're not looking at people that have specific aims necessarily quite ready, but our researchers maybe run a little bit more developmental up through that stage. So what we're doing now is NIH has a mechanism, and R25 is to support developing a meeting grant, right? So to developing a workshop, to developing the kind of program that we're envisioning with Bridges. And so we'll be able to deliver the program nationally. It will be a standard accepted annual event looking at developing grantsmanship, productivity, navigating the research infrastructure at your institution, having peers that you can talk with and bounce ideas off with, and again, most importantly, that mentorship. So next year, and I should say in the R25, we will be looking to grow up to about 12 or 16 faculty mentors each year. Hopefully over 5 years, if we bring in 12 to 15 or more institution pairs, we'll be able to get 60 to 80 individuals trained over 5 years. We are looking, again, just because it is an NIH as well as a professional mission, to really grow those groups that may be underrepresented in biomedical research. Looking at a 4-day workshop, 12-month structured mentoring. I think what really is neat is we're looking at training the trainers. So as people move through this experience, hopefully to be able to come back and share what they learned with it. So the R25 is going in later this year. All of the people that were involved in the first Bridges will be on. Would love to talk to people that are interested in maybe being mentors next year, being mentees and joining the program, or just, overall want to hear more. So feel free to reach out. Richard, Darcy, did I leave anything out about Bridges?
No, just reiterate this. It's a real special workshop. We really saw some folks who made giant steps forward in kind of their own formulation of their research program, not just a singular idea. It was a really rewarding experience, and I'm super excited for next year because I think that these faculty that come from programs that are not doing a lot of grant writing are not without great ideas. They have great ideas. They just need that work with a mentor to refine their messaging and refine the question a little bit better. And they need the time. I mean, a lot of people don't have the time to do it. And so working on writing a grant to buy out some of their time to really focus on research is really, really exciting stuff. And anyways, yeah, great program.
Yeah, one final reflection on Bridges for those of you that are thinking, I've been trying to get my scholarship and research off the ground, but I'm not interested in doing, basic science or clinical trials. I'm interested in education or health systems or outcomes. Or you're like, well, I just have too much of a teaching load. I don't even know where to begin. This is exactly who is just right for Bridges. And a lot of our discussions afterwards have been navigating through negotiations on teaching load, or many people that are also moving up in terms of some of their leadership within their department. So, how to balance not just navigating upstream, but doing that while you're developing leadership opportunities for yourself. The final thing, so I'm going to switch gears a little bit, and we'd be remiss without acknowledging generative AI and PT education. And we know that this it's on everybody's mind. It may be on everybody's computer and smartphone for all we know. But ACAPT, we were going to do this series of generative AI and PT education, really looking at some of the key components last year, and we just put it off while things were morphing along. I think where we're at right now in generative AI and why this webinar is going to be particularly timely is instead of everybody kind of either embracing AI or thinking that it's not for them, we are starting to see a little pushback even amongst our students about AI not necessarily being helpful and how does it impact metacognition. And so I think we have a little bit more data now on how it should fit, and how we should be using it within education to train this next round of clinician researchers and leaders. So we will be working with ACAPT. We haven't necessarily um, turned the crank on when this will be available. We wanted to get some of the guide webinars out first, but please keep your eye open for this. This will be an initiative we'll do in the next year. And if there are any of you listening, we would love for you to, again, you can email myself or Rich or Darcy and let us know that you would be interested in maybe having a role or to work within this area as the ISI looks to support growth in our ability and our skill set and knowledge on generative AI.
All right. So that was kind of an overview of who we are, what we've been doing, and the directions that we're going. And so I think we can close here today. The main message to you all is if this interests you, if it doesn't interest you and you want to voice that, we would love to hear from you. We will be at ELC. We have a business meeting. You're welcome to join that. I had the date on the first slide. Sorry, I didn't put it. I should have put it on this last slide. So let me just go back. So we will be at ELC and we have our business meeting on the 16th 5:45 local time until 7:15. So we very much would like to have conversations with you all. Also, prior to there, if you would like to reach out, I think all three of us are pretty easy to get in contact with. You can find our information on the web and reach out to us. Let us know what part of our activities you might be interested in contributing to. And yeah, we're looking to definitely support the wishes, the desires, the interest of the community. So we're here to listen to what you would like, the direction you'd like us to go, and consider those directions in the future. So reach out to us. Let's have a conversation. Darcy, Carole, any closing comments?
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you all.